Hey guys, I want to show y'all a cool little setup of how to make a post-processing layer on your model for cases of, like, for example, in the Midnight Rooftop. It looks great, it looks amazing, but due to the post-processing stack, it might make our models look very dark if we have like darker colors on our model. Like as you can see on my straps and my outfit, it is very, very dark. Like things are even like black. It looks like void. It's very dark. My grays are pretty much almost black. So if I open up my little menu here, I have a post-processing layer where I can actually fix that. And then also I have a light layer as well. And as you can see, I can fix myself pretty much in any world depending on the post-processing. I'm going to be showing you how to do that today. It's a very, very simple setup. So let's go ahead and pop into Unity. And we're going to be doing it on my outfit material. So whenever you have Poyomi open here and you're messing with the material, or whatever materials you're going to be applying this to, you're going to be going down to the bottom, you're going to check on post-processing, and we're messing with the brightness and the HDR. So to set those to animatable, and then we'll go ahead and get on with the animation side of things. So just make a folder for your animations, just like so. Click on it, and then whenever you click on your model, make sure you make a duplicate of your model so you don't accidentally overwrite your main animator. So when you do that, let's go to animations. We're going to create a new animation here. I'm just going to name it, for the first one, HDR. And just like so. And then we're going to go ahead and record. Click on your model. And then for the first keyframe, we're going to do -1.5. And as you can see, as I do that, the whole model already starts to brighten up, and that's what we want. And then on the next keyframe, we'll just do 1, which just in case if there's a world that is like way too bright, you can dim yourself down if needed. So we'll set to 1, and then once we actually set this up for the like on the model and put it on, you know, the animator and stuff, I'll show you how you can set the default back to 0. So whenever you load into the model for the first time, it'll be pretty much what it should be by default, and you can just adjust it after the fact. But anyways, for that animation, that's pretty much done with that. We'll go ahead and create the next one, which will just be light, just like so. And then we will go ahead and press record, and we will have the default value on brightness to 1. So just set that to 1, and then on the second one, depending on your model, you might have to mess with it a little more. Even on the HDR, you might need to make it more than what I do for myself to make it look good in your model, depending on your setup. But I do it usually the maximum to 3, so from 1 to 3. And then when it comes to that stuff, that's really about it. We're gonna go ahead and go to the animator of the model now. So go ahead and find your animator. So we're gonna go to My Effects. And we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and open up your parameters. And we're going to go ahead and add 2 of those. And they're both going to be floats. So 2 floats, 1 HDR, and then your next one's going to be named light, or just whatever you want to name it. But mine's going to be named to light. I'm just going to do it in all caps for the tutorial. Alright, HDR and light. And then layers, you're going to add 2 of those bad boys. And we're going to do the same thing. HDR and light. Just like so. Make sure you set your weight to 1 so these animations will actually work. If you don't do this, nothing will work properly. And we're just going to create an empty state. Since this is a very simple radio animation, we actually don't have to create a blend tree setup for this. So actually, let's start with the HDR first, which also the same process for both of them. So HDR for the name of the state. You don't have to name it, but I like to keep it organized. So then we're gonna go ahead and go to our menu again, or my folder for the animations here. And then also on your animations, and make sure you have looping turned off So click on loop time, turn that off. Oh, I accidentally selected my thing. Hold on. Crap. Effects. There we go. Okay. So we'll go on the animations again. You can drag and drop your HDR in there to the HDR animation, and then we'll set motion time. Make sure you check this on, and you set it to the parameter you made for this, which will be HDR. And then easy as that, this is pretty much done. Depending on your setup, by the way, if you're using right defaults or not, just make sure you turn that on or off. Easy as that. And mine is off for all my stuff, so I'll make sure I have that off. And then we do the exact same thing for light. Easy as that. Drag and drop. I'm going to turn right defaults off since I don't use right defaults, and then we're going to turn on motion time and set that to light. Then now we're going to go to our parameters on our actual model. So the model's actual parameter setup here. You want to add two float values. So here's mine down here. Actually, this one's not named right. All right, there we go. So HDR, light, make sure to set the floats. And then on the HDR one, on the default values here, make sure this is set to 0.5. And this is going to set the actual default value I was talking about in the beginning. So it'll actually set it to its default value it's supposed to be, normally with Poyami. But other than that, all that is set up now. All you have to do is create a submenu, and then you'll plop it into your actual main menu here. So if I go to my menus, animations, menus, so here's my main menu, and then I create a submenu down here just for post-processing. So if you actually, for people that don't know how to do this, just do create, and then you'll go to VRChat avatars and expression menu, and you should have a new thing that pops up. So this expression menu, and you can just rename it to whatever you want. And then you just add to controls like this, and then you'll name it whatever you want, which would be like light. And then I named my HDR just contrast to make it easier for people to understand what it is. And then you'll just set it to a radial puppet for each one, and then make sure your parameter on the rotation, not parameter, make sure it's set to parameter rotation, and make sure it's set to the right parameters for each one. And then you just go on your main menu, add a control, and then you set it to a submenu, and then you'll just drag your new submenu you made for it into there. And then after that, that's pretty much all you really have to do. You're ready to go, and then you can test out in VRChat, and you can easily adjust the way you look in any world. Easy as that. But that's really about it. I hope you guys enjoy this and it helps you guys out, and have a good one.